Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 7v7 custom match here on the map Satan's Clutch. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and players, starting with Team 1 on the western side of the map and ending with Team 2 on the eastern side of the map. Starting off all by the lonesome on this little island peninsula plateau thingamajig. We have Zyowar going first air as a Cybern in Barbie Pink. Probably didn't say his name right. Apologies for that. In glow in the dark green, we have Red X, not in green, not in red, unfortunately, but he is going first land as a Seraphim. To his south-ish west, we have Cobra Commander, probably a fan of G.I. Joe, going first land in orange, the color orange as a UEF. The regular slide here for Team 1, we have Drunk Warden going first air as a Seraphim in Tropical Ocean Blue. Hopefully he's not playing drunk, but I wouldn't be surprised if people have played this game drunk. Just wouldn't be surprised. In the eastern slide here for Navy, we have Legend Lore 2 going first land as a UEF in Emerald Green. Continue on in the middle of the mainland massive, we have Bowser and Nature. Haven't seen him on the channel here in a bit, but it's glad to see him back going first land as a Seraphim in Batman Gray. And last but not least here for Team 1, already on his move to the middle of the map, we have Once Handsome. I feel like he was handsome still, or he still is handsome, I should say, but it shouldn't sell him so short. He probably is still handsome, not once handsome. He's going first land in Pac-Man Yellow as a Cybern. So for Team 1 side of things, we have 2 Cybern, 2 UEF, and 3 Seraphim. No Aeon, surprisingly, for Team 1. With 7 players, that's kind of rare that you don't get at least one of each, but we'll see if that works out for them or not. For Team 2, starting off on their own little peninsula island thingamajiggy, we have Gamer9 Triple X going first and second air, trying to pump out as many engineers at the time to go get after his mass points here, and he is in Light Oak Tan as a UEF. Continuing on northward here for the Royal Blue player of Brittle, going first land, second air as the first Aeon of the game. We'll see what he decides to do. He might go into Navy, and he might go into air as well, but we will see what happens. This is, very similar to Satan's Clutch, except obviously kind of different, so we'll see what our players decide to do. Most likely he'll go into Navy, but we will have to see. In the middle causeway here for Team 2, we have Supreme Mouse going first land as a Seraphim in Royal Purple. And in the middle of Team 2's main land mass base thingamajig, we have faffing off, going first and second air as a UEF in Amethyst Purple. To his east in Stitch Blue, we have Skeptical Husky. Love the name. He is very skeptical, going first land, second air. One of my favorite types of dogs. It is a Husky. They're very cute and fluffy, but lots of hair. Lots of hair. And he's going as a Cybern in Stitch Blue. In the Regatta slot here for Team 2, we have Palameda going first air. I think that's the only structure. Yep, he's the only structure he has built. And he is in Ruby Red as a UEF. And to the west here for Team 2, last but not least, we have Elusive. I think that's how you say that. Going first land, second air as a UEF in Savvy Crimson. Well, and third Navy as well. On Team 2 side of things, they have one Cybern, one Aeon, 4 UEF, and 1 Seraphim. So pretty much one of each, and the rest of them are UEF. So will it be everything but Aeon here for Team 1, or will it be one of each, kind of a jack of all trades with a lot of UEF support for the Eastern team? On this map, it is obviously very similar to Satan's Clutch, except there's a lot more. There are naturally built structures like T3 air facilities. We have quantum gateways, radar installations, artillery. We even have Ravagers here in the middle. So a lot of firepower early on for our players to capture, not kill, but hopefully they capture all of them. At least the Ravagers here in the middle, they don't cost any mass or energy to use because they are PD. But in terms of reclaim currently still on the map, we have 159,000. Yeah, you heard that right. 159,000. That's a lot of reclaim. And 10,000 of it is over here just on this little wreck of a Nuke silo. That's one of those Stone Agers. A lot of the mass actually residing here in the middle of the map, very similar to Satan's Clutch. But, it's a lot of maps for our players to scoop up. So be prepared for those egos to skyrocket here pretty quickly. Here in the middle, we are seeing a couple more comms pushing up. We have one here from Bowser and Nader. We have Once Handsome gifting over a radar to the player of Drunken Warden. Actually, it looks like... wait, hold on. So he he didn't gift that over because that is Seraphim. He must have dropped the engineers to build it himself. Wants to get a nice little vision going down here in the middle of the map. They're going to be very wary of this Ravager here. Very early on, very powerful. The reason they're here probably is because there's so much reclaim in the middle that it'd be kind of just not a dogfight, but just a huge push to try to get as much as they can. So giving each team essentially a Ravager just to secure some of it, if not most of it, on their side. Very good option here for the map makers here, so applauds go to them. Team 1's player of Zio is moving up to the northwest section of the map. Might go for that T3 air headquarters. It is free essentially, so I don't know why you wouldn't get it, but it is very close to the Navy, or at least in close to the water, so got to be aware of that. We are seeing naval structures being built here for both teams. Start to be very dangerous. It's not as wide open space as the Navy is. The oceans are in set and clutch, so a lot of finagling has to move around. It does look like Team 2 is trying to cut off the middle access point here by just building a decent amount of factories just to hold up the Team 1's Navy. I love that move here. Essentially just body blocking that opposing Navy. Love that move. And also allows them to reinforce on that front line a lot faster. Wouldn't be surprised if this is the facility goes T2, and it is currently. It's upgrading as we speak. Both teams trying to reclaim the middle of the map. They're not trying to push too far because they do have that Ravager that covers essentially half. I think it's a little over half. Yeah, it's just a little bit over. Not by much, but just a smidgen. Just enough to be annoying. That's kind of how it is in FAF. It's just very convenient, but it's also slightly annoying. We have a bomber trying to go after this one land facility here from Team 2, but not really going to get anywhere with that one T1 mobile air gun in the vicinity. Just the hit points on the land factory are too much for 2-3 bombers to really deal with by themselves. Actually, Team 2 is launching against Team 1. Apologies, for some reason I thought it was the other way around. That is from the Batman Gray player of Bowser and Ater. And in terms of ranking, it's a little bit of a wide spread. We have everywhere from a 700 to an 1800, but there are 2 1800s for both teams, one for each. Also a 600 for the Northeastern team and a 700 for the Southwestern team. So going to be a lot of range of skills. But, it's a 7v7. It's, almost an hour. So we're going to see a lot of action. It's not very short. So, long games are pretty fun. It does look like this player is going after the Maz here, trying to take out that position for Team 1. Sorry, for Team 1, and then getting the Maz. And it does look like it's just going to constantly attack and go after it, which is what it looks like. Oh, push wrong button, trying to get the reclaim up. There it goes. I don't remember how much you start off with a column gateway, but it's not really. I guess it isn't really worth it to have one early on. The mass is more important, and I don't blame them in that aspect. To the northwest, what do we got going on? Similar setup here, just kind of hanging out. There, we are seeing some engineers being devoted for these other mass extractor points, but no engineers have started to claim this. Team 1 really wants it. It's in their territory, but Team 2 has denied at least the little T1 PD trying to guard that position. But both players in the middle going T2, so it looks like it's going to be base wars very early on. They don't want to push because of that one Ravager. You can see a lot of just not fear, but just apprehensiveness of going straight in because it is T3 versus a lot of T1. It doesn't really bode well. It's very hard to track with the T1 units because they just move so fast and a lot of the shots do miss, but it's still a T3 Ravager. Like, it still takes a lot of hit points to take out. It still does a lot of damage. So players have to be aware of it. They don't want to push too far with their comms because it essentially will be a death sentence. But I am noticing that 2 players on Team 1 are in the middle of the map while only 1 player is on Team 2. And this will allow the player of faffing off to devote more of his time and attention to building up his base, getting some T3 air facilities most likely, maybe going for a nuke, maybe going for artillery early on, just something to... He's pretty much the eco player in the middle of that because he's protected by everyone else. Essentially is Skeptical Husky as well. They're in that those like middle slots where you don't have a specific, lane or position or not. It's just kind of just ambiguous. We are seeing a drop here from Brittle. He's going southwest, going for this peninsula of this area for Red X. That's definitely in Red X's, sorry, not Red X's, Gamer 9XXX's territory, but wanting to establish a beachhead essentially for his his naval facilities here to the west. Wants some support, very quick to respond. I love that move because it's the response time, being able to get to the front line very quickly and not having to wait for units to resupply, to come, fly the however many meters it is to go over there, or kilometers in this case. That saves on travel time, it saves on response time, so very good move here from Team 2's player Brittle. We're seeing a Jester trying to attack a couple of these frigates. More are inbound, and frigates do have some AA, not a lot, but, again, some is better than none. We are seeing some Aeon frigates as well. A lot of Aeon frigates, mind you. And it's 2v1 here in the water here. It does look like Team 2 is starting to get further and further into Team 1's territory. Team 1's player of Legend Lore has claimed the southeastern side of the map, which Team 1 has also claimed. So essentially they're operating at a little bit over 50% of the map. But we are seeing Zio, he should be getting, honestly, this would be a good opportunity to get that torpedo upgrade on his commander just to help take out these frigates that are inbound. But the frigates are facing off against subs, and subs cannot be hit by the frigates, and so this is all free damage. Essentially, the frigate's going to take out the build power, and that's really about it. Maybe they'll take out some of the frigates that'll come off the line, but this isn't really going to go well here for Team 2 in that southwestern side of the map. We are seeing a couple of these Janus fly over and target these naval units from Team 1's player of Red X. Okay, now I got, 14 names. I'm trying to remember who's what, where. Trying to focus on the game, but having to look over at the the Supreme scoreboard sometimes is just it's just distracting because you're like, okay, where's that name? What's that color? I'm trying to focus on the action. But that Ravager tries to open up, but it runs into the issue of there is some environment to deal with, and now we see a couple of engineers getting pretty brazen, trying to going after those mexes, but then just gets destroyed by that T3 Ravager. And that naval fleet that we saw coming southwardly earlier on from Brittle has gone into the main production yards here for Team 1's player of Legend Lore. He is building some T2. Looks like those are destroyers, and that is the main target now here, but there's not a lot of frigates left. And it does look like Team 1 opting for the strategy of building a lot of boats, a lot of subs, I should say, which Team 2 can't fight against until they get their own destroyers, unless they devote resources to get their own frigates. But that's a lot of... Oh, sorry, their own destroyers. But this fleet of frigates will not allow that destroyer to be built, and therefore no response here from Team 1. That T2 facility goes down. There's now an Exodus-class destroyer nearby. That will be able to start taking out some of those subs, and all of these naval facilities will go down. We're seeing a couple of T2 torpedo launchers. The Uastu? I don't know. I think that's how you say it. They're starting to be launched here against these frigates and these destroyers here from Team 2. And they're starting to essentially PD creep, but with those torpedo launchers. We're even seeing a couple of them built here for Team 1's player of Legend Lore as well. One isn't going to do a whole lot against a fleet of frigates, but they'll be able to at least reduce their numbers by a decent amount, allowing for reinforcements to be built up in the meantime. I would like to see a secondary facility built here from Legend Lore just in case his main facilities go down. But Team 1 at least is trying to win Navy, and they're getting pretty close. They're getting to that main production line here for the Crimson Red player of Elusive. But the issue is that they can't get to the T2 naval headquarters, and they built some destroyers to help fend off enemy units, but It is starting to look like it is a 2v1 scenario with some assistance from Team 2. Is an air player, or one of their air players here from not Skeptical Husky, from faffing off. But we're seeing cruisers come into the mix. We're seeing, of course, the destroyers take out the enemy destroyers now. There's one destroyer left online, and all the focus is going on that one destroyer, but it looks like Team 1's destroyer will go down as well. And so now it's just a bunch of Team 1 units and a cruiser, which, the cruiser can do a lot if it focuses on the facility, which it should be. But now a T2 destroyer comes online, and now there's a lot of firepower now here that Team 1 doesn't have now. And so this one destroyer will be able to hold off a decent while longer. We are seeing a land push here from Team 2's player of Supreme Mouse, and it does look like they're targeting the PD. Of course, that Ravager is gone. The shields are taken out. There's some additional PD built back here to the west, but this southern position in terms of the middle causeway has been completely eliminated. Once Handsome is building a torpedo launcher in his chest to try to help assist against the Navy. Team 1 has fought off Team 2's Navy here. So it's not going to be a shutout here in the water. No one has died at 15 minutes in a 14-player game. Pretty rare. I mean, it's very similar to Sentence, so it does take a while to, usually it takes a while to kill somebody if somebody doesn't die in the early central causeway positions. But Team 1 is starting to hold off the reinforcements coming off the line here for Elusive. We are seeing some T3 strap bombers going after the mass against Elusive, reducing the effectiveness of those naval facilities and thereby crippling Team 2's player of Elusive from responding. Those strap bombers are going to be shot down, but maybe looking at one more bomb off. Oh, there it goes. The bomb gets off. Takes out a T2 Mechs as almost 3 land factories as well get blown up in that blast. But it does look like with the early loss here in the Navy for Team 1 and their bounce back, Team 1 has now secured Navy position here in that northwestern pond. And it's going to start hurting once a lot of these cruisers are brought to bear against this position of Elusive. Elusive has to get out of here. He's trying to build some flak. He's trying to build some TMD. And trying to just hold off anything and everything he can. Even has a T2 Triad here on the little coast. But that Triad is being focused now. Triad not really in range of anything, unfortunately. And Team 1 keeping their units at range, and most of them is actually just underneath the surface of the water anyway. Can't be targeted by those Triads. It does look like a lot of torpedo bombers are coming in to deal with that destroyer and then focus on the other ships. The cruiser's already gone. They really have nothing to fight against, or Team 1 has really nothing to fight against those bombers. And there's a lot of bombers here. Team 1 needs to really bring in their air support to help assist. But Ras is almost finished here for Drunken Morden. He's expanding his air grid quite nicely. It is 17 minutes. That's actually a decent amount of facilities at 17 minutes. And he's spamming up a decent amount of torpedo bombers as well, targeting the destroyers first. That's definitely the good move here, as well as targeting the cruisers, but they were brought to bear a little bit later, so they want the main targets. We are seeing, of course, more and more T2 units pop up everywhere. And in terms of air, it looks like only really one player on Team 1 is focusing air. We have at least 2 players on Team 2 focusing air, so that will give them the advantage. Also a lot of T2 bombers in the form of those torp bombers, but a lot of these units are just going to die. Team 2 might be able to get some more legs here in the Navy once they eliminate all of these subs. Team 1 needs to build a horde of cruisers and send them in all at once, not send them in piecemeal. So that's definitely the plan that I would go with. But it does look like a small naval fleet. It's on its way, but it's not enough. There's only 1 cruiser in the mix. You need probably 4 minimum just to hold off at least this amount, if not more, being built all the time, of course. Because, again, Navy is such a huge part of this map, because you can see a Navy can hit 1, 2, 3, at least 4 positions here. And then, of course, probably 2 positions here on that eastern side as well. Navy overlaps the center, of course, because it's in the middle. The middle is in both of them. But it doesn't look like it's just going to be no man's land here for a long while. There's 1 missile launcher here from Team 2, but doesn't really look like it's going to go anywhere. Team 1 can easily counter this. They're just not. I don't know why. We are seeing some of those missiles launched from those cruisers go after anything on land, but if everybody knows, moving targets, very hard for missiles to hit. Torps coming in to take out those Infinity-class cruisers, the T2 destroyers from the Aeon. A lot of those Torp bombers are already gone. They're not going to be able to kill them in one pass. They need a lot more than that. We are seeing more and more of the Torp bombers being focused on the destroyers and then going to cruisers. So an argument can be made that if you take out the firepower, then you take out the air support. You know, that's one way to do it. Or if you take out the air support, then you don't even have to worry about AA. So it's, you know, it's kind of a, you know, again, a risk and reward of what do you want to take out first and what are you willing for your opponent to keep on the field for now. But that destroyer is going to get surrounded here. The destroyers from the Seraphim can submerge. They can still launch their torpedoes, but they can't fire their main guns. The destroyer will pop out of the water. Did we hear a calm death somewhere? No? Is that just a naval unit dying? I think that was just a naval unit dying. The destroyer opens up its lasers. It's targeting the T2 facility here, trying to reduce the production of those either cruisers or destroyers, one of the two. And now it's just cruisers with a couple of... Actually, there's no subs here. It's just essentially just destroyers and frigates. There's a couple of subs on the way, but not that many. Team 1 does have that advantage with more subs. Cruisers are gone, are almost gone, but does look like the destroyer gets killed as well. Team 2 is still going to hold this central position, but a lot of their forces from both teams are just gone, essentially nullifying the advantage. Team 1 is still trying to press against this cove position here, or the beast position here, against Elusive, but there's a lot of bombers that have been built up and been sitting waiting for them to come back. 3 different players have Torp bombers available to them. It's going to be hard pressed for Team 1 just to knock them out just in one go. They need multiple sets of reinforcements. They need to just build up one fleet, one huge fleet, and send it in all at once. Does look like Team 1's player of Zio is trying to get to T3 and probably go for those Galaxy classes. That will help out a lot. Those Torp bombers can still take them out, but it will take a lot longer to take out the Galaxy class battleships. We're seeing not a lot of air support here from Team 1. A couple of cruisers, but again, you need more of them. Team 2 constantly sending out Torp bombers to eliminate the advantage that Team 1 is getting in that naval game. And in terms of the land game, not really a whole lot of progress has been made on either end. Team 2 still holds this front line position, and they're building T3 mechs. You should be ringing them first and then upgrading to T3. But, to each their own. Some people have different strategies than us, but usually that's the meta. If you go T1 to T2, and then T2 to full ringed, and then T2 ringed to 3, and then you can go mass fab farms around that after that. Or the mass fab ring after that is usually what I see is the sequential order of things. We are starting to see the destroyers go after some of these units here on the peninsula. One Mechs is taken out. Another one's about to be taken out as well. Let's take a look at mass productions. Now, we've been talking about it so much, but with 7 people on each team, none of them dying before 20 minutes, so that's actually very rare in a 14-player game. We have 1.5 thousand mass generated per second for Team 1 and 1.4 for Team 2. In terms of total mass accrued, we have almost 1 million mass. So at 23 minutes, or essentially 23 minutes, one team has already amassed 1 million mass, which, yeah, I guess it's 7v7, so that does make sense, but that's a lot of mass in 23 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe an early nuke from somebody. This is a 20 by 20 map. It's a lot of land for people to cover, and so having a nuke be able to, long range attacks, no range, anything. Like, no ranges for, like, artillery or whatever. Very, very useful nukes. We are seeing quantum gateways appearing here for Palameda. So, echoing up with the RASCOMs. Husky doing the same thing. With a lot of hives, so wanting to produce as many as he can. Going for a lot of focus on that SMD. Do they see a nuke on Team 1 side of things? No. We see Drunken Warning going for T2 and just his air grid. Cobra Commander's going for a Novak. So I guess a lot of players on team. Obviously, there's a lot of UEF, so that would make sense. I really don't see any efforts from either teams to build a nuke. So I understand getting an SMD up and running, but when no one's even started building a nuke, it's not really that important. But that's just me, though. No, I don't even see anything on Team 2 for building any sort of nuke launcher, so we will see how that goes. But a lot more units have been built up here for Team 1's fleet. They're starting to conglomerate, coagulate, congregate. That's the word. In this area here, there's a lot of AA. It's only T1, but, you know, a lot of anything will kill anything. But the Torp Bombers are still getting in, and they're taking almost all of those hit points gone. It's just, you know, Team 2 can easily just send in Torp Bombers, kill the AA off those cruisers, and then just have a field day with those other Team 1 units. They are maybe trying to get into the Navy. There's a couple of Stingers just sitting over here. We'll see what they end up doing with those. But there's not really a lot of aggressive plays on the land, and it does make sense. It's kind of a deadlock in this map. It happens the same thing, too, where after 20 or so minutes, the middle kind of just becomes not pointless, but isn't that useful because it can easily be countered by Navy. So it just kind of just sits there unless you have a huge push. But Team 2 has air control here in the game. We have 3 players on Team 2 going T3 air ASF production. You know, red player of Palameda, of course, in the rear guard air slot. We have Husky on the eastern side, and then faffing off in the middle versus Team 1 only having 1. Well, they have 2, but Batman Gray, they have 3 technically, but neither of these players really focusing on ASF. We have a decent horde of these broadswords built up. Maybe he's going to go for a snipe opportunity. But now we're seeing bulwark shields and T3 units here on this Southern Navy here for Team 1. Cruisers are being led to their doom, unfortunately. They were on the front lines. The cruisers... the battle cruisers here for the Neptune class are doing very effective work. They're Seraphim brethren. They borrowed some tech from the Seraphim and said, oh, we'll put that on a boat. Why not? We'll build like a hybrid between a battleship and a destroyer. That's what they've done. You can see the longer range that they have. Very effective. The most DPS, I think, for a naval unit. And there's a whole horde of bombers on their way, either targeting the cruisers or targeting the bulwark. No, they are just ignoring it. They're going for the T3 naval headquarters. There's not a lot of AA here. Not a lot of ASF as well. Let's see how much hit points they take off in one pass. Well, it's in the yellow. It's at exactly half. ASF catch up to them. There's not enough to take out the rest of those hit points. They'll take out a couple more, but not as much as they would like. But good attempt here from Team 2's player of Brittle, trying to assassinate that mass extractor, the naval headquarters. Those broadswords are brought forth. The column of Brittle did flee at some point, going after maybe the volcanoes, going after shields. The engineers probably, yep, that's what they're going after. ASF here from Team 2 are going to deal with those gunships. I don't think the broadswords have any AA capabilities. Oh, no, they do. Just a tiny bit. They don't really have anything. Huge amount of ASF come in. They'll deal with those broadswords. They will be fully eliminated here. So they're trying to attack the mast. Not really going to work out, unfortunately, for them. They could have been just shoved forward, taking out those other naval units here for Team 2. That whole central line of factories does go down for Team 2. So Team 1 has control of the middle. Unfortunately, this puts them in a really weird position, because they're now essentially surrounded by Team 2's forces from Gamer 9 XXX, from Brittle, and from Supreme Mouse. Supreme Mouse isn't in the air game, but 2 of the 3 players on Team 2 that are in the air are right next door, especially with T2 Torp Bombers. And so it is very imperative that Team 1 constantly builds those cruisers to nullify those torpedoes coming in. Because, yeah, a couple of torpedoes will come in, take out a couple of cruisers, and that's going to be the main focus. So constantly resupplying the front line with those cruisers is vitally important here for Team 1. And they can lock out T3 air as well with just a horde of cruisers as well. It has a dual feature. And we like versatility here in FAF. Or just in any strategy game, having a unit be able to do multiple things at the same time is always effective. But that T3 facility is building those Galaxy-class destroyers, and we have... Actually, the first one built was a aircraft carrier. That's kind of rare. Usually they go for the Galaxy-class first, but I think they wanted the AA support and building ASF on the front lines, or T1 bombers or whatever the case may be. So I do understand that play. Unfortunately, here in the middle, Team 2 can easily counter the amount of missiles coming in right now with just a couple of these Ithisa? I don't know how to say those. The T2 TMD. And that naval fleet is coming into the main line facilities here for Team 2. Two T3 naval headquarters are in this vicinity. But an Omen does finish that will significantly allow Team 2 to hold off, at least for a while. We even see some volcanoes pop off and divert some of those missiles. We see more and more of those torpedo bombers constantly springing up. These cruisers need to get even closer to this front line. The Neptunes can only do so much damage so quickly. There's a lot of torpedo launches in the water as well, so multiple sources of torpedoes. This facility will not be taken out very quickly. It'll take a while, and just due to the Omen's range, of course, and the ability for them to just have 48,000 hit points versus 27 and a half. Essentially, it's 2 ships worth of hit points versus 1. These cruisers need to come in and start nullifying that air. And Team 1 does not have a huge amount of ASF to really do anything. We do have Batman Grey player, a Bowsinator, coming in and assisting. Doesn't have enough, but is reducing the ASF a decent amount. That T3 naval headquarters is down, at least for the player of a Gamer 9 XXX. He's also dealing with a Novax overhead, so he has to deal with that. He has to get under shield coverage to protect his comm. Nobody has died yet at 30 minutes. That is very surprising. Let me know how you feel right now. Who do you think is going to win currently at 30 minutes? Team 1 is winning the naval game, but Team 2 is definitely winning the air game for right now. So who do you think is going to win? Let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. We have a chicken making landfall from the Navy. There's no PD to assist in taking this chicken out. And that comm is in striking range. This might be the first comm kill of the game. Elusive is trying to make his way, away, but it's not going to work out. The chicken has already spotted him, got in range, and taken him out. That is the first death of the game at 30 minutes and 38 seconds. And that was from Bowser and Ader. So that must have taken a long time for him to walk that, probably 20 kilometers, if not more. Yeah, it's probably about 20 kilometers. Yeah, sounds about right. But it does look like faffing off will inherit whatever is left. Couple of broadswords brought to deal with this issue. There's not a lot of flak on this chicken, so it'll take a long time to chew through the hit points on those broadswords. But these are the best ones to deal with experimentals. They do the most amount of ground damage versus their Restorer and Whaler compatriots. This position of clean cameras will be destroyed. That is the main target here for this chicken, taking out infrastructure. You should be taking out mexes as well. There's a Omni that you can take out as well. There's T3 mexes, there's land facilities, there's a headquarters. There's a whole bunch of vital structures and resources that can just be easily eliminated. But this chicken is not being as microed as it should be. Only one gun is currently active, well, 2 technically, but one arm is currently active. Chicken is still in the yellow, has just dropped into the red, but needs a couple more mass, 1,000 mass killed. And he'll probably get that with killing all of these mexes. He's going to stand in the middle of the base to ensure maximum damage. I love to see it. Just ensuring that he does take out everything. Oh, the Omni's right there. The Omni's right there. Take it out. The Omni's right there. Take it out. Blind Team 2. Do it. But it looks like he's targeting other things. They're building T1 PD as well with these engineers. There's another T3 mechs. He is at 5-star chicken. 81,000 mass. Nothing compared to the 500,000 mass killed by that one Awasha last game. If you haven't gone and see that game, it was a very good game. Man, that Awasha did crazy things in that game. That chicken is close to death. It finally dies. I think the Iron Storm will take out this Omni, so, not too bad. I do want to see if it will take it out, though. Takes out that T3 land factory, though. At least it's actually missing a lot. All that Omni might actually stay active. Takes out the shield. Takes out the land facility. Takes out the Omni. Okay, I just want to make sure they took it out. I love to watch players take out intel installations. Because intel is very, very vital. Like, you need to have information because the more you know, the more you can prepare for. And it's just very, very vital. It looks like we had a couple of RAS ACUs dropped here by that Continental that was taken out. They built up a couple of PD, and they're going after this stealth facility with a couple of defenses. Not going to last super long. And now they're just going to hold up on the southern section of this landmass here for Gamer 9 XXX. Excellent move here by Legend Lord, just essentially just taxing the APM for his opponent. And we have a couple of summits starting to rain their shells down on this forward position here. The player of 9 XXX starting to be hemmed into a corner, or like a slice of the map. The T3 Naval Headquarters was taken out. I think it was taken out by this, but it was taken out at some point. So Team 2 is essentially not kicked out of Navy entirely, but pretty much kicked out of Navy for both sides of the map. The only thing they have going for them is their air advantage, unless they start getting into the experimental T4 stage with, you know, Scathis, Maver, a bunch of Novaxes. We see a nuke being built. Okay, it's good to see they're starting to, you know, plan for the end of the game. I always say 30 minutes is roughly when you take stock and say, okay, how do I want to end this game? Because you can end it a bunch of different ways. But you need to have at least a game plan. You need to have at least a backup plan. At least have those two plans. And if those plans don't work, then just build T1 bombers and just send 1,000 of them at the enemy. Hopefully that should work, but probably won't. Ravager counters here from not Gamer 9 XXX. These Rascoms are just going to sit here and die, trying to build some shields to defend themselves. But the overwhelming firepower, they're essentially just PD creeping underneath shields. So these Rascoms will not make it out. The only thing that can save them is a Continental, and it doesn't look like there's any Continental to save them. There is a Star Lifter that I think can pick up at least one, if not two, but cascading explosions might occur. They're trying to hide in this little crevasse. You can see it. It's like protect us, hide, trying to, you know, use the environment to your advantage. Look at this. This is just, they're actually targeting all the Ravagers. They're trying to do what they can, but there's so much firepower coming off of those Ravagers underneath the shield coverage. It really doesn't matter, but that's just an interesting little view. They can essentially just hide. And they can still get hit, but, you know, it's very difficult for the PD and artillery to hit them just due to the environment. A lot of experimentals are built here in about a couple of seconds. The Hathums here from Team 1 starting to take out this central position that Team 2's player Supreme Mouse has really just held for a very long time in this game. Baffing off, expanding his area very well. Lots of Novaxes, lots of shields, getting a bunch of kennels. Would like to see some hives. And Team 1... Is it Team 1 or Team 2? Where's that nuke? It's from Team 2's player. Brittle launches the first nuke of the game. Actually has an eye as well. Very useful tech there. And where is it going? There's a lot of lines and a lot of numbers on screen. Where is it going? See, it looks like it's going for Batman. Oh, and there's also a Scathis here. Where's that at? Didn't even notice that built. That's interesting. Oh, it's right. Wait, where is it? Is it in... And at this point, I'm looking for the nuke. Nuke is going... Oh, it lands a little bit short because this position does not have a anti-nuke. And kaboom! Takes out mass points. Takes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mass points and a couple of Rascoms. Once Handsome is suffering quite a huge number of mass just eliminated from his coffers. He was at probably around 300 something. Has dropped to essentially 200. Oh, Husky has built these Scathers over here to the northeast at 36 minutes. That's pretty good. It wasn't as fast as that other Scathers I casted a couple weeks ago. But, you know, 36 minutes is very respectable. Cobra Commander's position is starting to fall quite heavily. Shields have gone down. He's trying to do more and more, but we also have some defense satellites taking out PGens, taking out structures under, well, construction. The Nuke Eliminator is one of the focuses here for Cobra Commander. There is 2 more in the base here for Bowser and Nader. He has really nothing to worry about. Should focus a little bit more on producing more shield coverage. And it does look like Bowser Nader is assisting the shields here, so protecting his comm against the inbound bombardment from that Scathis. I would love to see a Maver built by one of these players just to puncture the shields, but I don't see any progress right now on anything. It's just the first experimental is that Scathis, and that nuke launcher for Team 2 does finish. So we have 2 nuke launchers and a Scathis here for Team 2, as well as a bunch of Novaxes. Airfight ensues over the top of Gamer 9 XXX's base. There's a lot of ASF here from multiple players, but it's essentially just Bowser and Nader's ASF versus everyone else's. We even have a couple of these sub-hunters trying to take out what they can. They have AA on them. They're not super effective, but they're better than, well, nothing. The naval bombardment still occurring here. That forward operating base just being withered down to tatters now. It's the summits, essentially. There's the one that broke the shields, allowing the missiles to come in and overwhelming those buzz kills. Team 2 still has air control. Not dominance, but fairly close to dominance. You can see Bowser Nader's base just being reduced to just essentially these 2 shields right here. Starting to lose that air grid as well on that western side of his base. Novax shooting Novax satellite stations. Kind of funny. You're just watching satellites kill other satellites, essentially. And the satellites in the air can't shoot the other satellites in the air, so they can only focus on the actual control systems. But ASF fight here over the top of the middle here, but it does look like it will still reside with Team 2. They were going after those broadswords, but a lot of ASF protection, as well as a couple of, I think there were some SAM sites in here, at least you would assume, on the front line. No SAM sites. It's kind of, oh, I guess there's a couple right here, but not a whole lot. There's not even that many cruisers in the water here. They've been moved up here with these aircraft carriers, but there's lasers constantly being fired by both teams. Of course, that the Scath is just being a pain here for Team 1. Team 1 needs an answer to this, and they really don't have one. They have an Awasher being built, but it's going to take a while, and there's a lot of AA that's going to prevent them from just throwing it at their opponent. It looks like, ooh, a Maver at the edge of the map. I love the placement. Needs more shielding, though, of course. Team 2 launches a nuke. Actually, it's from Team 1. It's actually from Cobra Commander. This nuke will launch, and where will it go? Looks like it is going for Gamer 9 XXX's base. I mean, yeah, you could take out that commander's base, but it's not really doing a whole lot for the overall progress of the game. Team 1 has hemmed him in and will not let him leave, essentially. So it's not really that vital that you kill him off. All this is going to do is just throw all of the remaining resources to at least one of the other players, most likely faffing off. And he's built 1, 2, 3, 4 Novaxes, a 5th one underway, building an air grid as well. Essentially, right now, the underrated player of the game is going to, I think, at least, it's a tie between Skeptical and faffing off. Faffing off has been very stable, or very consistent, I should say. Gamer 9 XXX uses all of that mass, has brought most of his engineers away from the explosion, so he'll be able to build some defenses and facilities right quick. Did those engineers? No, they did not survive. They all died. Not engineers. Rascoms, they all died, unfortunately. But that bombardment fleet should be moving down here and taking the rest of his base out. All this is doing is just delaying Gamer 9, essentially. Not really doing any vital damage. You could have even struck the middle of of this base here, opening up a hole for land forces to come in. But Team 1 not using land forces that much either. Focusing on naval and, you know, air essentially. But Team 2, every time Team 1 builds a decent sized air fleet, Team 2 comes in and just crushes it, or at least it comes to them and they crush it. And now the Novaxes are targeting the air player of, not Cobra, but Drunk Warden. Team 1 has been in the lead with a player advantage at 7v6, but with 3 Novaxes overhead and artillery raining in, Cobra Commander is not feeling too well, and now we have Drunken Warden retreating as well. How is that Maver doing? Well, it just started. It's in the red still. It's going to be a while. There's only a couple of Rascoms and those Kennel rover drones working on it. It's going to be a while before it finishes. Legend Lore, he has 400 mass, so not a huge amount, but a decent chunk. Team 2 is winning the mass game per second at 2.7, 2.8 thousand versus a 2.5 here from Team 1. So not completely like far behind, but it does make a difference. Team 2 is up by almost 100,000 mass. And that artillery piece of that Scathis is constantly raining in artillery all the time. Did they find out about the... No, they didn't find out about it. They kind of know there's some air units over here. Maybe they think something's going on, but they're not really paying attention to it currently. Legend Lore's base is now the new target of that Scathis. And there's not a whole lot of shielding. There's a decent amount, but not a terrible amount. We'll have to see. 1, 2, 3. Novax is targeting the comm of Junk Warden. He dropped into the red. Oh, the shield goes down. It can't be assisted. You need to build another shield. The Novaxes are just a little too strong. Junk Warden is being targeted. He needs to get under shield coverage now. There he goes. Now this shield is going to go down. The engineers are actually the ones targeted to prevent any more shields from being built. Junk Warden is essentially just stuck. And he's just waiting to be... just taken out essentially. Another Novax will come in, and another one will come in as well. So 6 Novaxes here for the comm of faffing off, and he is not stopping. He's building more and more and more, and Team 2 looking very pretty. They were suffering a decent amount early on, but they lost Navy to hold the end game, and now that is really working out for them for this game. Team 1 really needs to press the advantage with all of these summits, with all of these Hathums, with all of these, battleships here to the northwest as well. This position is essentially gone here for faffing up, but another nuke is launched here, this time from Team 1 again. Do not tell me you're going to the same place again. You're going to the same place again. That's not that useful. Team 2 launches their own nuke from that same position. Looks like it is going for the main position of Drunk Warden. So if he can't escape from the lasers, he cannot escape from the nuke. This nuke is going to come in and probably kill Gamer 9. We'll see. It's a little bit arced a little bit to that northern side. Probably will clip him, but that nuke is coming in now. It's going to be a kill, like a 1-for-1 scenario here. There comes the nuke. Oh, it's going to be... No, it's not close enough. Gamer 9 is safe, but his position right here will be destroyed. A bunch of engineers will die. A lot more mexes will die. It's just him and a couple of mexes, and that's really about it for him. He's essentially knocked out of this game. Essentially, it's a 7v5, but now it's going to be a 6v5. 6v5 here pretty soon. Drunk Warden cannot escape, and there he goes. Kaboom! The most beautiful explosion next to the second most beautiful explosion. And that is a kill for Brittle. This is now a 6v5, and I'm saying 6v5 only because Gamer 9 XXX is essentially just knocked out. He can't fight back realistically. He has 1 Pigeon, a couple of engineers, and a couple of mexes. That's really about it. He doesn't have any artillery. He doesn't have any air units. He doesn't have Novaxes. He has nothing. So I feel like you could just give him a couple stuff to manage. Like you could give him the... No, not the Scathis, but you could probably give him all the Novaxes to just manage. And that's a good move. But down here, the comm of Legend Lord goes down to all of those Novaxes. Was trying to build that Maver on the edge of the map, but that did not work out here for him. Another nuke is launched. This time, it is still from this position. It's the other nuke to the east here from Team 2, and Palameda control Ks. Hold on. I usually pause when we see a control K. Was there any... Like here, since it's our player... Oh, looks like there was a connection issue, maybe? Probably, just based on that... conversation. Need to move the BSs to get a clear sign on Scathis. So that will be a drop here from Team 2. Definitely unfortunate. They are leading currently, but again, it's a full share game, so it's not a huge loss. That nuke will come over. It does look like it is not a full share, it is a partial share. So all those ASF here from the player of Parameda does go down. Teleport SACU comes in, takes out the nuke launcher. I'd say that is definitely worth the trade. And in terms of mass, we have 1,200 versus 10,000. Definitely a good trade here for Team 1. So they took out 1 nuke launcher. There's a lot more to take out and to scat this, so there is a bunch of tele-defense here. It is T2, but that'll wipe out any comm very quickly. Looks like we have, of course, the two... Where'd they go? Oh, they're down here. The two nukes are pretty protected. That nuke does land. Actually, that's not a nuke. That is a RASCOM going off. That nuke that was flying over here does get shot out of the sky. A bunch of mass being devoted to all of these. It's not really worth it. The comm of Red X is targeted by all. There's one, two. There's a lot of Novak satellites here. They're going to rip through any shield. At this point, it is a critical mass of Novaxes. With the assistance of the Scathis, no shield will be able to hold out these Novaxes. And the shields are down. The SMDs are down. That nuke was just shot out of the sky. Actually, no, that was from Team 1. Team 2 is going to launch a nuke, I would assume, at some point now that this position is gone. But the Scathis is still raining in as well. I swear I heard another nuke launch. Well, this one's going to go straight down the middle, but I'm not going to go anywhere. There's multiple SMDs here for Team 2.
Strategic launch
It looks like there's a little bit of salt, but not a whole lot. It does, Gamer9 XXX does point out the fact that Team 1's two highest rated players in air try to focus on, but this position goes down. That nuke did land, or somebody died. What happened here? Red X has been defeated by Skeptical Husky. Yep, there he goes. Looks like he was actually killed by the artillery, by the Scathis. Brittle is the next one targeted. Team 1's player... Is that a team? Oh, it looks like a... Well, that's a nuke. That's not a Supreme. Mouse does make it out of there just in time. I wonder what... That was a... oh, that must have been from up here, maybe? Ah, it was from these Plan Bs. That's what it was. Okay, I was like, I swear there was a nuke launched. There's only one SMD, and it wasn't loaded. There is another nuke launcher back here as well. The Team 2's player of faffing off is just producing anything and everything he can. Not going for Maver, but going for the cheaper things like the Novaxes. How many does he have now? 10. He has 10 Novaxes. And they are traversing the map. Novax is a little OP in large numbers, but you know, they are very effective. It does take a while to make that amount, so the other team does have enough time to try to hold that off. Another nuke will be able to be produced just before its destruction. There's a lot of satellites flying overhead, and they're trying to protect one of these shields. You can see with all those lasers firing on the shield, they still can't hold it off. There it goes. They try to protect the nuke as much as possible. Launch that nuke. You're not going to have another opportunity. We have T3 Authams and a chicken going after Bowser Nader. The Ion Storm might just kill Bowser Nader straight up. He has 39,000 hit points. If he doesn't die by the Ion Storm, the Novaxes will kill him, but the shield comes online just barely in time. It will protect him. He's sub 2,000 hit points. The laser is targeting him. The shield went down, and there he goes. He died. Let's see who actually got the kill, because it was one of the purple. Oh, Supreme Mouse does get the kill from that Ion Storm. That has got to hurt. Look at them all. Look at all of this nonsense here. This is just laser much. Like, that is so many facilities. So many facilities. Team 1 essentially reduced to 3 players now. One's Handsome, Cobra, and Zio. He's not, that Scathis has been online for a while now, and the Novaxes are just churning through everyone. Well played, Jen says One's Handsome. Love to see the camaraderie here. One's Handsome's actually on the front line building some harms against these RASCOMs here from Team 2's player of Skeptical Husky. One of them will go down, but it won't get the chain reaction that they want, unfortunately. But look at this just purple mess. Look at it. Look at all the stuff here. He even has stuff up here too. Look at this conglomeration. Bunch of hover drones. Bunch of RASCOMs will start dying off once they get the kind of the volatile, explosive chain reactions. It won't really matter. RASCOMs are going to die anyways due to this nuke that's inbound. There it goes. Here comes the cascade explosions. Boom, 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 boom. Takes out a decent amount of them. Targeting the next one in line. There goes another one. Two more go down. Shield is trying to be stabilized by these engineers. That's not going to last very long. Novax is targeting P-gens to take out the additional energy that Cobra Commander still has, but doesn't have a lot. Does have some on his comm, but not enough to shield enough of these shields to just stay active for a long period of time. Team 2 lost Navy, but you can see just because you lose Navy does not mean you can't win the game. And sometimes in settings, if you lose Navy, sometimes it's the end of the game, but Cobra Commander does control K. This game is now a 5v2. Gamer9 XXX is still alive. All of those Rascals go up in smoke. Does look like Zio will kick the bucket here, and now it's just Once Handsome left. He's going to build a teleporter. Actually, Zio did not die. What was that? Oh, that was a nuke going off. Apologies. Where is this commander? Oh, it's up here in the water. Okay, I was looking for him. It is a Once Handsome map, says Brill. Well, with all the nukes and all the artillery, it was handsome. Now it's just riddled with holes. It is fun, says One Handsome. Yeah, it is a good map. You have these, civilian structures you can reclaim. You have decent amount of land, decent amount of water. It's like a sentence clutch adjacent. It's not entirely sentence clutch, but it's a different form. Well, if you can sit back and build 8 strats, seems too big. I have small, and I have large. The teleporter is almost completed. He does have the torpedo on his commander. He's at we have 51 minutes, so pretty close to the end of the match here. A couple more minutes, I think. But the nukes from Zio, there's 3 of them launched. Team 2 launches their own nuke. What are they going for? They're going for that main base, it looks like. Well, that's the target, but let's see where the nuke actually goes. Nope. They're going south. Where are they going? Oh, they think he's here. So they're going to take this position out, take out his T3 naval headquarters. All those nukes get shot out of the sky, unfortunately. They're trying to target those Novaxes. There's still more SMDs loaded. There's 2 here, essentially. There's 2 here, so 4. So those are in range. There's 1 right here. This one isn't loaded. This one has 4. That's 8. They don't have enough plan Bs. They don't have enough loaded. And now the artillery is raining in constantly on this northwestern position. That Team 1, Zio, has held for a long time. There goes that nuke. Kaboom. Takes out all of that support there. Teleporter is almost done. It's taken a while, but he's trying to finish as fast as he can. He still has the laser on that commander. Here comes the nuke from Team 2 once again to just eliminate whatever's left. Scorched Earth is what it's looking like here.
Strategic launch detected.
Here it comes. Let's see. Where's that another nuke coming from? Coming out from this position. Where is it going to land? I mean, trying to target the plan Bs would be fun, but now the torp bombers will do that for them. Trying to do what they can, but it's just they did not get out in time. At least these ones didn't. There's a lot of SAM sites here, a lot of TMD here to hold off any of those ASF and torp bombers, but it's just, again, it will not be enough. But the nuke will land here, and the comm of Once Handsome will die before he can finish that upgrade. There he goes. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Teleporter was canceled because he died. So, but 1 nuke does get launched off by the plan B, but it's not enough. It still will get shot down. Another nuke launches here from Team 2. That one does get shot down. This one is going directly for this position. So it's just Zio versus the world here. And he's operating at 583 mass per second versus 3,000. So essentially a 7 to 1, well, 6-ish, but a 6 to 1 ratio here. Team 2 far surpassing Team 1's eco now. And it does look like Zio exits the match. At least that's what it looked like. Unless he he teleported somewhere. Zio is just hanging out next to his enemy. That volatile explosion is going to hurt a lot. He's going after Husky. Oh, there he goes. He's targeting some high. Oh, he's targeting the SMD, but he's targeting the comm. Husky will die. Zio will get a kill before he has to vacate the match because, it's not really looking good for him. It's 1v4 now. If he blows up this P-Gen, it might be all over with. He has to get out of there. He cannot stay here. He needs to teleport. He has only 1,000 hit points remaining. A couple of bombers will take him out. Team 2 has essentially no response. That Scathis goes down just due to the fact that it was built by Husky, and he will die. I think he died to PD or artillery, or I don't think he didn't control K, but that was, at the end. He killed the Scathis. He killed a couple of Monkey Lords. He took out a commander. Like he did good. He didn't just vacate. He didn't control K. He's like, I'm gonna die in a blaze of glory, and he died in a blaze of glory. And Team 2 will win the match with 4 players left standing. Gamer 9 Triple X held out. It's hard because he survived multiple nukes, multiple comms and commanders and Navy fleets going after him. Still is alive. It's very tenacious of him. We have, of course, faffing off building. Let's see, how many was his total? Did he just stop at 10? Nope. Yeah, he stopped at 10. Let's see. Yeah, so yep, he stopped at 10. So he built 10 Novaxes. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to give him, and he just kept building more and more nukes because he said, "Why not?" So it's hard. I feel like, I'm gonna give the underrated player probably to Gamer 9, just because he held up for so long. He survived multiple nukes, multiple players coming after him, and he even said it in chat. Let's see if I can scroll up to see if I can find it. See if I can find it. Is allergic to doing anything involved actually sending you to the enemy. Because your 2 highest rated players and your heir were trying to kill me literally the entire game. Yeah, and he's not dead and failed. Yep. I feel like just for that, he gets the underrated player of the game. Let me know how you feel down in the comments if I'm right or wrong about that. Please like the video if you did enjoy it. And of course, if you haven't hit that sub button down below the video and you've been enjoying the videos that I've been making, please, subscribing lets me know that you do like them. Liking them does too, of course, but I do, of course, appreciate a sub to the channel. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.